Hey everyone, and welcome to the show. Coming up this week, we're going to talk about how much of an impact Zika might be having on people's vacation plans to Walt Disney World. Castaway Key is honored by readers of Cruise Critic, and Disney has filed a patent for interactive hotel rooms. We'll tell you more about that. Also, a little later on, we're going to tell you our impressions of this year's Food and Wine Festival at Epcot. All that coming up next. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 909 for the week of September 20th, 2016. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show, coming to you live from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends John Magi.
Hi, everybody.
Kevin Close.
Hi, everyone.
Kathy Whirling.
Hi, everybody.
Corey Martin. He's just happy to be here.
Just happy to be here. You can't ruin it for me, Pete.
Oh, yes, I can. Back in the production, associate producer Rhine Clavin.
Hello.
Along with our producer, Mr. Craig Williams.
Hello.
Well, welcome to the show, everybody. Hope your week is off to a good start. I have been binge watching The People versus O.J. Simpson.
Oh,
We watched it week to week.
it was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I've relived it.
So what's the
Yeah.
outcome?
I was just say, do you want me to ruin the ending for you?
Really, spoiler alert. So yeah, I'm like, my eyes are bleeding because I can't do when I binge watch, it's got to be pretty much the whole thing in the course of about a day.
Oh.
So it kind of gets ugly.
Did you watch the Emmys?
I watched them. I was busy Sunday night, but I watched them back. But not before I heard everybody who won.
I say, spoiler alert, Sarah Paulson wins.
Yeah,
She deserved it.
absolutely.
Also, the
After
two
watching-
other actors, the one who did Christopher Darden,
Oh, he was amazing.
holy
he was
smokes,
good.
he deserved it.
He
For
was
sure.
amazing. So
And Johnny Cochran.
yeah.
Did you see Maggie Smith's tweet in response to Jimmy Kimmel?
No.
Jimmy, point me in the direction of Lost and Found, and I'll be over as soon as I can. Or something along
Get
that line.
Miami.
So welcome to the show, everybody. Now that we've had that little non sequitur that has nothing to do with anything, couple things in housekeeping. First, just want to remind everybody of the other shows that we produce every week, every Monday. DizUnplugged.com and YouTube.com/Dreams Unlimited Travel, the Dreams Unlimited Travel podcast. And what was this week's show about, John?
This week we did Universal Orlando Resort package add-ons. Coming up next Monday will be our Universal Resort Orlando question and answer show, where you answer popular questions. And also we have a surprise for everybody. With that show, we are going to release our announcement for the winner of our Dreams Unlimited Travel contest for a trip to Aulani.
Wow.
We filmed it on Castaway Key, so it's a very cool shot with the ship in the background. But we're really excited that winner will be announced next Monday.
And Oliver was so nervous having to shoot you like that and make sure everything was just right, and he didn't want you to be upset. So he's scared of you, John.
Is it good?
He's terrified.
As it should be.
Goal accomplished.
So that's every Monday. Also every Monday, the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged with host Tom Bell and his team. This week, Mary Jo Mulatto Willie, an amazing woman who I absolutely adore, does her one of her Day 6 series around what she's calling Walt Disney's Los Angeles. So for those who aren't familiar with what Day 6 means, a lot of people will tell you that Disneyland, 5 days is a really good amount of time to spend at Disneyland to really see everything and kind of enjoy it. So what do you do on Day 6 of your vacation? What's a good thing outside the parks to do in the Southern California area? And Mary Jo focuses on that with a variety of these segments. And so this week it's about Walt's Los Angeles. So that is currently up on iTunes. And you can subscribe to all of our shows on iTunes if you just want the podcast. Or you could go to DizUnplugged.com and find the videos and the streaming shows and everything else and YouTube and blah, blah, blah. Links in the show notes page, DizUnplugged.com. Every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, live, DizUnplugged.com, the Universal edition of the Diz Unplugged with Mr. Craig Williams, Ms. Rhino Clavin, and the lovely and talented Oliver Green, who has a day off today. Gave him the day off because he's doing some stuff with his husband and his family. Yes, I know.
What?
Every so often we have to
I
unchain
don't
them.
understand what these words mean.
We have to unchain them. So, Craig, because I am stealing most of your team to go to California this week, you're going to have to pre-record
We are.
your show. And so I'm assuming you're not going to make it up on the fly like last week.
No,
so
we're not.
What are you going to do?
We are, all three of us have now been able to experience every single house at Halloween Horror Nights. So we're going to break it all down for you, let you know what is what we think are best and what you got to hit if you're going to the event this year. So
Yeah, I'll be interested to know that because I have not done Halloween Horror Nights here in Orlando. I will be getting a chance to do it out in California this weekend, so I'm very excited about that. See how they do it. But all right, thank you for that, Craig. And of course, every Friday-ish, Diz Pop, Rhino Clavin, and others, although he's an extraordinarily special guest this week.
Yeah, he does, yes. Yes. I have the one and only Pete Werner this week. The one and only. And we're doing a little unboxing of some loot crates and nerd blocks that you subscribe to. So we did a fun little to show people those kind of subscription services. And then,
Okay, cut to Kevin.
And then...
Deer in the headlights. Wow.
Boxes and
Loot crate.
Not Louis
crate.
boxes. It's
a nerd
No,
block.
he thought it said lube. Lube boxes.
Is that a subscription now?
I've never found that in a box.
Well, they have wine in a box. Why not that?
Oh my
With a
god.
foot pump?
You haven't lived.
Cut away from Kevin.
And then I'm
sorry, sweet.
hoping to do a makeup tutorial if I get enough. I got a couple suggestions on the Facebook page if anybody wants me to know how to do something for a certain type of people. Aging effect, bites, broken noses, whatever.
Rhino folds a fitted sheet.
A fitted sheet.
Drag.
I can do all these. Just
I
let me
thought
know.
he said he was doing a makeup tutorial.
I am
He
doing
is.
makeup tutorial. Yeah, it's special effects makeup. So like like
let me tell you something, folks. He is incredibly talented at doing this. I mean, he's like professional grade
He's really good at the arch and an eyebrow.
special
Yeah.
effects makeup. You should see some of the stuff he's done. It's really impressive. So,
can do a zombie if people want.
see, and that's something I look at and I go, okay, I just no,
Yeah.
could never do it.
I'm waiting for the tucking episode.
Well,
Yeah, really.
That's the Diz after
Yeah,
dark.
you're so
but-
good at this makeup crap. You couldn't do something for me before
Well,
the show?
the hard part is finding people who are willing to sacrifice for me to practice on, because you can't I can do it on my own arms, but I can't do it on my face. So, I'll tell a fun story about what happened to one of my friends when they volunteered during this week's episode. So tune into that. It's almost
Awesome.
a trip to the emergency room.
Oh,
Awesome. Okay, so those are the shows we have coming up this week. What else do we have in housekeeping? Somebody must have something.
I also wanted to mention in terms of the shows, last week I said that Connecting with Walt would be going on its new feed. It's now available on iTunes. So if you search Connecting with Walt, you'll be able to find it now.
And subscribe to it.
And subscribe to it, of course, so you'll be able to get the latest episode downloaded. And that latest episode will come the first week of October. I don't know the exact date on it because I am not a calendar.
It is like the 6th, I believe, because
Rhino is a calendar, apparently.
it is the 7th. Excuse
The
me.
7th. First episode, October 7th.
That's the first
So look for
Friday.
that.
Awesome. All right, anything else in housekeeping?
no.
no.
No? All right. Well, gives us more time to talk about food and wine and make fun of Steve in Magic Kingdom a little later on. So, but before that, we'll throw it over to Johnny with the news.
All right. New survey suggests that Zika is affecting future plans to visit Walt Disney World. 2 recent surveys show that Zika fears are beginning to affect future plans to visit Walt Disney World. The surveys by Civic Science show that nearly half the people polled have either canceled or decided to not book a vacation to Walt Disney World because of concerns over the Zika virus. The first survey included 2,592 respondents, and the second survey was nearly double that. However, almost 85% of those polled were not planning a Walt Disney World vacation anyway,
Which,
which is a
You would-
weird survey.
right?
Yeah.
Don't you think you would qualify the survey? Are you currently have you planned or have you been planning a vacation at Disney World in the next 18 months? You'd think that would be a qualifier. Like
And then,
when they do political polls, they ask one of the first question they ask, how likely are you to vote? And if you are a likely voter or a registered voter, then they proceed to ask you the questions. If you say, no, I'm not going to vote, thank you for your time, goodbye. So I question the validity of this survey, but
Right.
go ahead.
Investment firm BTIG included the survey in a recent note to investors, adding that they are, quote, growing increasingly concerned with Orlando travel trends. While there has not been a locally transmitted Zika case in Orlando, Disney, Universal, and SeaWorld have all begun handing out mosquito repellent. Disney says that they have seen no impact on future bookings due to Zika. Despite Disney's claims, there has been a slowdown due to other factors, such as a slowdown in the Brazilian economy and the Pulse nightclub shooting. BTIG analyst Rich Greenfield adds that although Walt Disney World vacations are sometimes planned far in advance, it's hard to determine the impact. The effect of Zika is something that Disney should be talking about.
And I think they are. I think, look, every hotel room now has mosquito repellent in it. Mm-hmm. And wherever you go in the parks, there are these stations set up for you to get some mosquito repellent and put on while you're in the park. So Disney's not turning a blind eye to this. They're not ignoring it. There have been no confirmed cases of Zika in Central Florida. Doesn't mean there couldn't be. But, the people who are at risk are predominantly pregnant women.
Or soon to be pregnant women.
So I don't think... I think the other trends right now because we're seeing it with the kind of specials that they're offering to annual pass holders. We're seeing it with the discounts that are coming out that we haven't seen in a long time. We're seeing it with a lot of the decisions Disney is making right now that, obviously they're concerned about the slowdown in attendance. So we were just talking this morning about the fact that it took a considerable amount of time for the Halloween, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party to sell out. It was a lot longer than it's been in previous years.
Yeah, and there's only one sold out so far, and that's Halloween.
Yeah, and that's unusual as well. Mm-hmm. So I think as people realize those dates are available, I think it's going to start picking up. But because the interest in it is very high.
Yeah.
I mean, we've never seen... the traffic that we're seeing on the Diz to information about the Halloween party, the traffic we're getting on our videos from the Halloween party are through the roof. So there's a real interest in it. Crowds are lower this year, guys. This is the year to do it. Because I was surprised. I was at second day of Food and Wine Festival. And I remember last year, you couldn't move on the first 2 days. This year, it was leisurely. Lines were almost non-existent, and where there were lines, it was because they only had one cash register open. But we'll get to that. But so, I mean, anecdotally, we're seeing this. Of course, we've been hearing the analyst reports. We believe that the November earnings report from Disney, which, interestingly enough, they are going to be broadcasting live on the web, is going to reflect more of this downturn than it did in the last one. So
where we're seeing Disney's response to Zika really strong is with Disney Cruise Line. Disney Cruise Line has issued travel advisories and are reminding people about taking precautions. However, we know for a fact that Disney Cruise Line is not slowing down.
Not seeing it at all.
I don't know if people are that concerned about it.
I think this has more to do with the fact that pretty much everything's under construction at Disney World, and there's all this talk about this is coming next year, and this is coming, in 2083, and when Star Wars will officially open, I believe it's 2083 is now the estimated date.
Episode 42.
Yeah, really.
When the science behind it is actually outdated.
Yeah, really, exactly. So I think that is probably people saying, you know what? Heat, crowds, shootings, Zika. And construction. No. And alligators.
And we were just talking before the show. August was the hottest month. Rhino
Yeah.
August was the hottest month on record.
Insane. It's been
September is
crazy
getting
hot.
up there. September's
I was
evil.
really surprised how hot it was in the park. I've been going into the parks a lot this summer, and it's been warm, certainly, but it was uncomfortable last week. And I know these guys, it was even warmer the day before when these guys were over in Epcot. And I'm watching those live feeds you were doing on Facebook from the Food and Wine Festival, and these guys looked like they were dying.
I didn't want to eat or drink.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Wow,
that
that's
hot.
saying
Right, you just want
something.
to
Wow.
get inside where it's cold.
Those folks, those are words that have never left this man's mouth before. Okay,
This
ever.
is the end of times.
This is pretty.
like it.
I'm fairly certain that's in Revelation, right after the four horsemen, and Corey's not going to want to eat or drink. All right, you may
right.
proceed.
Our second news story, Castaway Key honored in Cruise Critics' Cruiser's Choice Destination Awards. Disney Cruise Line has been honored time and time again for excellence. This time, DCL's private island, Castaway Key, has been recognized. Castaway Key was chosen as best cruise line private island in the 2016 Cruise Critic Cruiser's Choice Destination Awards. There's not even an acronym for
How
that.
many are there? I mean, this is this a big category?
There's a number
brand
of there's a
new,
number of private islands for cruise lines in
Like there's
Bahamas.
Labadee and Coco Key.
Coco Key, I believe Princess has their own line, don't they? Or I know that Carnival has their own, don't they?
I'm not sure.
There's a sandbar in the middle with a beer keg on it.
Well, that's pretty much what Coco Key
Yes,
is.
true.
You have the tender to it.
Not even. You have to swim to
Well,
it.
this wasn't
They don't
this,
even
but
give
this
you
wasn't the most. This wasn't the most interesting thing about this award. You're getting to that.
Members also listed Castaway Key as the most highly ranked island in all of the Caribbean.
That
That's a bigger
is
Yeah,
award.
big.
that's a big deal.
That is big.
Number 1 out of 5 is nice, but number 1 out of everything?
But you know what's funny is that we were there last week. We were in Castaway Key last week, and I was at one point. I remember saying to myself, "Of all the islands I've been to in the Caribbean, this is the one I enjoy the most.
So it's the one we get off on.
This is the one that's too
Stop.
personal.
Are you
Just stop.
talking
It's too
about?
personal.
I heard it when I said it. Just
You
stop.
talking about private islands or just islands in general? Because I mean, this
No,
is
they're
the.
talking about of all
like
islands
St.
in
Martin,
the
St.
Caribbean.
Thomas.
Oh wow.
That's-
I'm inclined, personally inclined to agree with that. That look, you know, there's a culture in St. Thomas, St. Martin, St. Kitts, St. John, all the islands in the Caribbean. There's a culture and a charm to all of them, with the exception of Nassau. That's just a slum. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
it's a slum. It's
pretty wide.
Paradise Island is nice, but Nassau I can't stand. But in terms of really having that kind of Caribbean island beach feel,
Oh, it's idyllic.
you can't touch
The
it.
other islands don't have that.
No.
It's it's like kind of our romanticized Caribbean.
And I'm okay with that.
Me too.
I'm perfectly
It's
okay
been
with that.
sanitized for our protection.
Exactly. And
The conch cooler.
you know, it's gotten to the point where, you know, we were talking about it last week, where I really felt like my experience on the Dream, they hit it out of the park. And then you go to it was awesome. And then you go to Castaway Key and you're like, okay, wow, this is why it's more expensive. This is why it's anywhere from 30 to 100% more expensive than competing cruise lines. Because I'm going to tell you something. Rhino said it best when I was talking to him about the experience we had last year on a four-night sailing on Royal Caribbean on, what was it, the Enchantment?
Yes,
Yeah.
the enchantment.
And we went to Coco Key, and we got a private cabana, and Rhino described it as Section 8 housing in comparison to Castaway Key, and I think that's a very fair, very, very fair comparison.
I mean, our cabana at the whatever what's the other island? The Castaway Key.
Castaway Key and then Coco Key.
Coco Key is the Castaway is
Okay.
Disney's. Yes, I'm getting really confused. Sorry. There was just jagged rocks outside of our cabana. It was like we were allowed to look at the ocean, but not go anywhere near it. They
Yeah, it
put them in the
was-
worst part of the island.
And it was also, the service was substandard.
No, they
and
brought us that champagne and like what looked like an organ had just been transported in the cooler as
Yes.
well, and they were they wouldn't let us drink any of the drinks at the counter. Like it was messed up.
It was weird.
What was the price difference? Do you remember?
I don't. I know it was considerably less expensive.
And you get what you pay for.
But you get what you pay for, and I would much rather pay the extra money and have that experience. Because when we were on Castaway Key, we had that storm come in, and we were able to like close up the cabana completely,
Tell ghost stories.
and just kind of ride the storm out. And I have to be honest, it was really cool. I had a good time. It was fun.
They were
Funny
playing
enough,
Survivor.
I'm looking at carnivals, and it actually even looks better than Coco Key.
Really.
Yeah,
Could be.
it looks clean.
Oh, those are also.
I've never been to Coco Key, but are we going to go on that with the Oasis?
No, we go to Labadee,
Labadee.
which isn't much better.
Labadee's changed. Labadee used to be a beach, plastic lawn chairs, and 2 concrete block bunkers where people harassed you to buy stuff.
After the
They've-
last set of hurricanes, they've really
Actually,
built it up.
they've fixed it up a great deal. It's not
Unfor-
Castaway Key.
Unfortunately, what they do is the shops are, because it's off the coast of Haiti, and the shops are manned by locals that ferry over in the morning and back at night, and they are so obnoxious and aggressive and rude and nasty and will grab you
Hair braid.
but will actually curse at you if you don't buy from them.
Taxi.
And it's despicable. And I remember I went with my sister Barbara and my mom, and they were like, "We never want to come back here again. We never want to come back."
I have a
here."
story to tell you. We had been there a couple times, and I knew what it was like when you went through the shops that they just harassed the daylights out of us. This was how I haven't been there in a while. So I got off and got ahead of John and Bob and Diana. I was probably 20 feet ahead. And every person that came up to me, I told them I had no money. But the person behind me in the black T-shirt was named John, and he was looking for souvenirs for everybody in his office building. So I walked 20 feet ahead of them, and all you could
I'm
hear
surprised it didn't end in divorce there.
all you could hear in this concrete bunker was, John, I have souvenirs over here. John finally caught up with me and kind of backed me into a corner and said, what did you do? So
This is
I
before
was-
y'all were married, huh?
yeah, it actually was. So I wasn't allowed to get off and go ahead of them. I had to stay with them and not tell people his name.
So I think, I think that's huge honor, and I think it's deserved.
The
Honestly.
second part is a huge honor.
Yeah.
The first part, I'm not quite sure that's
Well, that's what I'm talking about, and I think it's deserved because, like I said,
It's pristine.
But still, when you're comparing cruise line to cruise line, island to island, yeah, I mean, I think it's cool to be the best.
sure.
Yeah.
Especially by the people who are people who are traveling. This isn't just a reporter.
No, this
It's a
is
survey of their members. So-
And when you leave that island, you already see like the lifeguards and everybody cleaning up the beach.
I was just talking
It
to a
happens
man
that fast.
who was driving one of what they call the island taxis. We call it a golf cart. And he was telling us that his brother lives on the island also and has a different job. But there are about 300 people who live on the island now.
Yeah, they've got, like, a
Do
little
you remember-
community there.
Do you remember when there used to be like 30 people?
yeah.
And so they've
They
really
used to
kind of...
wave at you when the ship left.
That's right.
Like all 6 of them. Please take us with you. Don't wave
Now
us.
there are 300 permanent residents. And I thought, wow, that tells you how much more infrastructure there's
Yeah.
actually there.
It's cool.
It's pretty cool.
All right. Our third and final news story. Disney patent turns hotel rooms into interactive environments.
Okay, and for those who are watching, this graphic that Craig has put up looks like the ceiling fan is assaulting some woman in bed.
It's very American Horror Story.
It is.
Oh, it's a child in bed too.
Exorcist.
Oh, is it a child?
Oh, that's
So
clearly
it's
a
it's
child.
very exorcism. It's very modern day Disney exorcism.
Come on, Reagan, tell us what you think.
It's very Caribbean Beach Resort.
It's also very sparsely populated.
That's what you get when you go to the Caribbean. All right. The Walt Disney Company wants to use interactive projector technology to turn its hotel rooms into a new fully immersed environment. The technology is an amped up evolution of the company's already popular projector nightlights on the consumer market today. The company last month was issued a patent dubbed Image Projected Light Bulb that can be used in hotel and household light sources like desk lamps or ceiling fixtures to project animated images into a desk, bed, or walls. It could be used to turn a regular hotel room into a scene from a game or movie that children can play. Images in patent documents show that the system could be designed to work with everyday electronics like tablets and smartphones or even radio frequency enabled books that could communicate with the projectors and further enhance the interactive ability between the guest and the room. In addition, the projector's fixtures could be implemented with touch interfaces that may become the source of many kinds of interactive play, essentially making selections of rooms, essentially making sections of rooms, whole rooms, or other spaces into interactive video spaces that surround and immerse users in stories and games, much like a video game. Disney's existing projector nightlights on the market work more like the classic Viewmaster toys, where preset image cartridges are slid into the projector, and they display the still frames. The new patent seems to be looking to turn the walls of a room into a movie screen, like a storybook being enhanced by the projector displaying moving scenery, lights, sounds similar to what's happening in a book. The patent also looks at tracking camera that can be programmed to remember a user's facial features and then change the imagery to that person's settings.
Oh, Jesus.
Disney said the patent technology could be used in the amusement park setting or in a hotel lobby, but many of the descriptions are for the inside of hotel rooms or in private homes.
Now, I just saw a video on Facebook yesterday or the day before that was kind of illustrating this technology. It was somebody sitting at a table, or like, I guess it was a restaurant.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And this, through the use of this technology, so this little guy pops up out of the table in a chef's outfit and bows, comes over and cranks something, and then what you see on your plate changes, and it becomes a grill with a piece of steak projected on it, and he lights it on fire, and then he goes and he's digging up like onions and scallions, and he's throwing them on, and so obviously this is all projected, but it looked incredible. So if that's the kind of technology they're talking about, now, that being said, if I'm laying in bed in my hotel room and little men start jumping out of furniture, doing crap around the room, I'm probably going to get upset.
Mr. Werner, how much toilet paper would you like?
Really, it's just going to be, a
Look,
little.
there's Tupac.
But I think, but school's going to be open on their birthday.
I do not believe that this would be involuntary. I would think you would have to start this somehow. I can't believe that all of a sudden.
Well,
things
now
would
they've
just
got your
happen.
fingerprints, and they're going to take pictures of your feet. Now they're going to take pictures of your face. It's a little
And
weird.
how much is this going to add to the cost of a room?
Really?
But if you can get a value resort and have your walls changed to look like the bungalow,
Look, just from a business perspective,
might be cool.
Just from a business perspective, what happened when the Dream and the Fantasy came out and the inside staterooms had the virtual portholes? Those rooms became more popular and it cost more to get in because the prices are yielded than outside staterooms with actual portholes looking at really the outside, not an image of the outside.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, the difference is, though, that no one took your picture.
Yeah, but again, I think what you're looking at is first of all, third, fourth, fifth generation of this technology. And I also believe it's going to be voluntary. I don't think it's all of a sudden you'll have to have your picture taken.
Do you want the psychotropic room when you check in?
Right, exactly. No, I think that if Disney implements this, even with an upcharge, now they've changed the game to people will have to stay on Disney.
Did you want to know the first thing I thought about, honestly, when I read this, was how cool would it be if Universal took this technology and then, like, during Halloween Horror Nights, like, did, like, horror stuff in your
jeez.
Oh, who's that person coming out of the closet?
It's
all of our
Finley, why are you floating in the air?
So,
I actually think this sounds like old Disney. This is what, when I was a kid, this is what I expected every time I went back to Disney, that there was going to be some new technological thing that was going to blow my mind.
I'd love to see them doing this.
I am of the age now where I think, stop.
No, I love it.
But even like, at the Disneyland Hotel in Disneyland, they had the headboards, the Kiss Goodnight, and how cool that is. And that's just...
This takes that to a whole nother
That's just
level.
a headboard lighting up and playing a song. This is...
exactly.
next
So,
level.
I actually think this is very cool.
yeah, I think that this is the kind of innovation that Disney needs to be investing in. And I'm excited to see what they do with it.
This is the kind of Tomorrowland stuff that I used to look forward to.
Right, exactly.
Excellent. All right, that'll do it for the news.
All right, thank you, John. Before we get to rapid fire, we have the one and only Stephen Elizabeth Porter joining us live from the Magic Kingdom. How are you, Steve?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm hiding away in the AC in the Space Mountain gift shop.
Oh, anything of interest over there?
Yeah, so I actually came here because they just added, I don't know if you can see behind me, but they just added a guest relations area in Tomorrowland, which is kind of nice. It reminds me of Disneyland, how they have the guest relations people throughout the park. It's only, I just talked to them, it's only from 10 a.m. to 7 a.m., or 7 p.m., excuse me, every day until the first week of October. So it's just a really short test that they're doing. But they said if it works out and people really gravitate to it and really like the service, that they're going to keep it. So I'm hoping that they keep it because I think it's kind of cool. There's been like literally no line. So I feel like instead of going to the front of the park and dealing with those massive lines for guest services, this is like a super good alternative.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought when I first heard it, because that's always been an issue. Guest services at City Hall is always kind of a nightmare because that's where everybody goes. And
well, that's because there's no other option.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a nice option.
This feels very hidden, though, to me. Is there any signs telling people
No,
it's there?
there's really nothing. I was surprised. I actually kind of had to walk up to them and be like, so you guys are the guest relations people here now? And they were like, yeah, but it's just a test.
Of course
So
there's no line.
literally there's no way of knowing just besides the fact that they're wearing their guest relations costumes. Otherwise, you would have no idea.
But your average guest is not going to know that, if they're wearing the plaid, that means they're guest relations.
Yeah, exactly. So it is kind of confusing. But, I mean, if you're a Disney veteran, it's a good way to have a really short line.
So they're back at the counter where you get the magic bands?
Yeah, so it's on the
Okay.
back half. So the gift shop is kind of behind me.
Okay.
And then it's over here with,
they're really
like
hidden.
the magic bands.
really
Create your
making me
magic
dizzy.
bands is over here.
Yeah, he's very light on his
So
feet.
I assume they're equipped to do everything that the front of the park guest relations, renew annual passes, the DAS cards, all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, they said that they can, book reservations for a restaurant, do anything that you need to do. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So what else have you been doing today? What's been your theme
Well,
park day like?
There's another thing actually in here that I saw the news story about, but my battery was running low, and I was like, oh shoot, I gotta, FaceTime in. So I went and got, I don't know if you can see, but it's the fuel rod, and they're $30, and they work outside of Walt Disney World too at any fuel rod locations. They said that there are airports and like different places, like in big cities they have them a lot of times, but basically for $30 you get this battery and it charges your phone, so it's great for the parks. And then when it runs out, all you do is bring it back to the fuel rod station and they give you another one that has a full charge.
And how much of a charge are you going to get off of one of these?
I mean, my battery was at 30% and it's back up to 75, and that was only after maybe 20 minutes of charging.
Wow. So it's a rapid charge.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And is this available for a full line of phones, or is it just for iPhones? Or
Yes, it has, here, let me get out. It has the iPhone 4, like the old thing. It comes with the
30 pin.
really?
It comes
We've
with
known people who've gotten this. They love it.
Like
Comes with multiple.
probably like the Android Samsung.
So that's the USB.
charger.
Yeah, it's the USB 2.0.
And then they have the current iPhone.
So it comes
charger
with
it.
all of these. It comes with all these connectors.
Yep. Comes with all of them, and then they actually have the old iPhone chargers.
Wow.
And when you return it, you don't return the plugs. All you do is return the cell.
All you return is the battery, and it has a little barcode, and then you get a brand new one.
Well, for $30, I mean, and the fact that you can keep now, but if you want to keep that one and recharge it, can you recharge that yourself?
That is a good question.
the answer
Johnson?
is yes.
There actually, it looks like there is it looks like you can plug the USB into your computer then, because
Yeah,
it
you can
has
recharge them.
There's a little charging spot. So yes, I think
You don't
okay.
have to return
Yeah,
it.
that's
You can take it
convenient.
home with you.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know, will it charge a dead phone to full? Or, because I see that a lot with these external batteries where you'll get like 40%, 50% charge out of one.
I
The
think it
only
said
anecdotal I've heard is someone said they had a very low phone at like 20%, and it did bring them to 100%.
I think it's only like 80. I remember reading that it said it wouldn't do a full 100%, but that's the benefit of being able to just swap it out really quick. Is you can charge it up to 80, then drop it and get another one, and
Yeah, I
charge
heard
it up
75,
again.
so probably in there
Okay.
somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think for $30, that sounds like a great.
And to keep getting
Yeah,
them over and over
I think it's
again.
a great deal, and it's just it's not just like you have one charger for $30. You have unlimited. So,
Right.
Is the kiosk there, Steve? Are you near it?
Yeah, let me run over and I'll show you guys.
But will
Sorry,
it charge
now-
my razor?
Now I'm zipping through the
My
gift shop.
Motorola.
Well,
dipping
as long as you
dodging
have
people.
the connection for it.
Oh, look at Steve. He's stylized walking.
He's stylized.
He's going to get 50. Now he's going to lose.
I want you to sing a song
Seems
now.
like if I keep
want
on
you to sing a
talking
song, you should
about
walk like
content,
that.
they won't make me do anything.
That's like the little machine.
Oh, so it's
And
not
basically
manned by a person.
Yeah, it's a kiosk.
You can choose what you want. You can buy or swap. I don't know. The lights kind of for $30, buy or swap. So if I wanted to swap, I would do that, and then it just gives you instructions on how you swap it out. Now I don't know how to go back. Shoot.
Just run away.
But yeah, basically you just put the like empty fuel rod up here, and then it dispenses another one. So
Wow.
I had friends who used it.
And how small are they? I mean, it looks kind of
it's
tiny.
really. I mean, this is with the case in it, and this is fairly small. It's probably the size of
Like a roll of nickels.
Really?
Quarters, I think. Yeah.
Quarters, maybe.
it's like maybe like a
What is he measuring it against?
Lifesavers package, basically size.
Lifesaver package, is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. Thank you very much, Steve. I hope. Where are you going to eat today?
Good question. I like the Harbor House, so probably there.
Where should we send him to eat?
That's a good question.
I think you should vlog. I think you should vlog turkey legs.
Oh, I hate the turkey legs.
Oh,
All the
even
more
better.
reason.
You should do
What?
And record the whole thing in slow-mo.
Now, where should we send him? Harbor House is too obvious.
That's too good. Someplace bad.
Well, I got to say, I think a lot of the fast food in the Magic Kingdom has gotten better in recent years. Not Disneyland level, but we'll let you eat where you want to eat.
All right.
Feeling generous
He's like,
today.
all right.
Thank you.
But I would still love to see a turkey leg vlog, especially since you left.
I guess if I have to.
I'm gonna
Wait a minute.
get the little Steve laugh.
Was that a turkey? Did a turkey just run past you?
I don't even think it's turkey. I feel like it's like,
It's ham.
It's emo.
yeah,
Yeah.
it might be.
No, it is emu.
Don't start that rumor.
Please
again.
don't. Not again. Not again. I went through that 10 years ago. All right, Steve. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for showing off doing some show and tell with us.
Yep. Thanks,
see you,
guys. See ya.
See you soon, buddy.
Bye, Steve.
Bye,
Bye,
Steve.
guys.
All right. So there's that. Let's move on to.
And then that happened.
Then that happened. Let's move on to rapid fire. We'll start with you, Mr. Major.
All right, I wanted to share with everybody something that I purchased recently. I think is really cool. Is you can buy a Disney stock certificate at thedisneystore.com. If you are a Disney stock owner, whether it's in like a 401k or a retirement account or even individually, what you do is you provide proof that you are a stock owner, and for $50 you get this really cool stock certificate. Can we get it fully up on the screen here so these guys can see it? It's beautifully animated.
That was $50?
That was $50. But it's really great. It's on great. I wanted to bring it with me and I forgot. It's on really nice paper. It's embossed. It's got a little stamp. It even has a Xerox copy of Mike Eisner's signature. So
Or Bob Iger's.
Bob Iger's signature.
So it's really old.
It's really
Yeah.
old. Bob Iger's signature. So if you need a Xerox copy of that, you can always have that. But I think it's beautiful.
I was reading some of the reviews. They say, I guess it's an odd shape that you have to get
Yes.
it custom framed.
That's one of the things I actually liked about it. Wasn't like an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And again, embossed, and it has a stamp and
Is this the one you chose?
It's only one.
Because
There's only one now.
Oh, I thought you had your choice of what you could have on it.
Nope, this is the only one. It's
You can customize it with your name or whatever. And
right, and they'll put your name on it, and it'll say like, John Magi is a Disney stockholder.
yeah, up to 40 characters.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's I think it's a nice piece of art to have framed and put on a wall somewhere. So
Awesome.
there you go.
Thank you, John. Kevin.
I found, actually Kathy found it, and I stole it from her. This comes from Dwayne Bevel in the Orlando Sentinel. Epcot's going to float through the European ports next year. Adventures by Disney has announced the addition of an adults-only Rhine river cruise that will offer enhanced food and wine as part of the Food and Wine Festival in 2017. The date is October 21st, and it's going to be the regular Rhine river cruise, but on board will be Disney member sommelier Brian Koziol. I apologize if I slaughtered his name. John Slate, the culinary director for Disneyland. This is Disney's first foray into taking the food and wine experiences on the road. If you're interested in booking this, you'll go to wineries, you'll go to famous restaurants, all the sorts of things throughout the week. I think it sounds great. If you're into food and wine, this is food and wine in the places where it actually came from.
Right.
So if you're interested, you could book this through Kevin at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Just saying.
And I gotta say, river cruises in general are great for food and for the wine experience because, again, you're in wine country, you're in these great places. So I think this will be an awesome addition to
the ships hold about 150 people, and we'll be able to start booking this after. Take two. We'll be able to start booking this after September 30th. So there's going to be 150 spots on this.
On one sailing, right?
Now, we just talked to one of our agents who did the Danube cruise. There are no Rhine River cruises. None of the Rhine River cruises have traveled yet, so there's not a lot of there's no feedback on them. There is on the Danube River cruise, and they have 8 guides for 150 people, so it's nicely spread out.
Yeah.
She said she's now hooked on river cruising.
Wow.
Because of it, yeah. And she said it was worth every penny. And these are expensive trips.
I just think the rooms just seem so small.
Well, if you get a regular room, they do.
All you're really doing is sleeping. There's not there. You're sleeping there. It's your hotel and your restaurant. Most everything happens off. But they say there's going to be seminars and exhibitions and demonstrations and
awesome
other things.
Great. Kevin,
if we weren't going to China, I would suggest we do this. But
yeah, we're going to China.
Kevin at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com if you're interested in booking
after September 30th.
Or now, and he'll just put you on a little wait list.
There you go. Right to me now.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. Kathy.
Mine is Reedy Creek is getting 2 new medical assistance response carts. This is what they use before the ambulance shows up so they can get to the person in need much quicker. They want to add 6 new paramedic positions for next year if their budget passed. So one of the carts is going to be stationed at Disney Springs while the other one roams the rest of Walt Disney World property. So look forward.
When you're talking about a cart, you're not talking about the mobile thing in the park. You're talking more of a vehicle.
Well,
yeah, not a defib.
It's like they're self-contained with the cart and everything.
It's like a Pargo, right? But it's like an
Yeah.
ambulance Pargo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen you've probably seen them at some point. Just didn't realize that's what it is.
Yeah. So 2 more.
Okay. Thank you, Kathy. Is everything all right, Craig?
Just looking at the weather.
Oh.
We're not exciting enough. He's looking out the window.
Just watching the paint
We're
dry
losing.
back here.
We're losing Craig. All right. Thank you, Kathy. Corey.
All right, the Shark Reef at Disney's Typhoon Lagoon is set to close in October. Typhoon Lagoon will be closing. It'll be closing next month with its last day in operation, October the 2nd. For those you don't know, it's a saltwater reef where guests can go snorkeling among fish, stingrays, and sharks. There's also an underwater viewing area as well. They did announce that they're going to be doing a new family raft ride called Misfortune Falls. And that should be coming to the park in the spring. So a lot of chatter on social media. A lot of people are like, "What's up, Disney? I'm never going again." I'm kind of, I have a mixed feeling about this. I think this is one of the few things that, in addition to the wave pool at Typhoon Lagoon, this is one thing that kind of sets it apart from other water parks. I've worked at Typhoon too. I've worked this reef. It takes a lot of cast members and lifeguards to put it in operation, from all the lifeguards inside of it and also the people that are having to distribute the mask and snorkels. And so I don't know if it's a budget cut or
if they have plans.
Well, it sounds to me like it's being made way for this ride. Like maybe they need that space.
No, they didn't say that it was going there. They said we don't have a use for this area just yet.
Well, I just heard a rumor that the Universe of Energy might close and become a Guardians of the Galaxy ride?
No, that's been debunked.
Has it?
Yeah, it's Tower of Terror out in Disney California Adventure is shutting down in January and being turned into a Guardians of the Galaxy.
But they already took Tower of Terror off the building.
The sign's already down. The ride's still up, but the sign is down, and they're going to be...
Yeah, it's gonna be an overlay of redone for that.
I will say one thing about the Shark Reef. It's look, I'm a wuss when it comes to cold water. The water is freezing.
It is freezing.
It's
in there,
freezing.
It has to be.
And you have these big expectations that these stingrays are gonna come swim up to you, and you're gonna see everything in it. They're bottom dwellers. So you're really looking, and so you're not really swimming with sharks. They're kind of at the bottom. But at the same time, I think it sets Typhoon apart from
I
other
agree.
water parks. You have Universal opening theirs, and I don't know. It's put some alligators in there, make it real interesting.
I think you should have Guardians of the Galaxy swim reef.
All right, thank you, Corey. Rhino.
Okay, so mine is about the 45th anniversary merchandise that is set to hit in just
And this is all
couple
of
days.
it, right? It's pretty much
No,
all of it.
there's more. There's some Dooney and Burke's bags. There's some pins. There's going to be day of merch as well. I think they ended up adding some
They're
stuff.
making 100 of each.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So
Not bitter, I swear.
there it says many of the logo products, including apparel, open edition pins, home goods, and more. They're all going to be released at select locations on September 22nd at the Magic Kingdom. Those are at the Emporium on Main Street, Star Traders in Tomorrowland, Big Top Souvenirs in Storybook Circus, and the Briar Patch in Frontierland. Those Dooney and Burke's bags have already appeared on the Shop Disney app as of the 15th. And let me see, there's going to be a Magic Band. There's some other shirts they added. There's a Pandora charm that's being added now too. And then if you can't go, guests can visit the Disney Parks online store from October 1st through the 9th to find the limited edition T-shirt celebrating the 45th anniversary if they want.
They already had one out because I got it. So I think they're adding it now to open it up to everybody.
Yeah. That's what it seems like. They're just added some more stuff because
Yeah.
I think people kind of like, what the heck? It's 45 years. You didn't say anything. But as we know, they said that 45 isn't quite the stamp that you want to put on it. You want to say
Which I'm
50.
surprised because usually, there was that time where it was like, oh, look, it's our 26 and a half year birthday.
Yeah.
Let's have 19
Disneyland
months
had a
of-
45th anniversary party.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a shame.
Like I said, I said this previously. I think they did not want to try and do something with 60th just ending in Disneyland, and that was spectacular. I mean, that was a spectacular celebration for their 60th. That if Walt Disney World did something like, oh, woo, yeah, we're 45.
But
It
don't
was
you remember they were
pale in
kind of
comparison.
it seems to me that Disney was embarrassed by the fact that they didn't do anything for the 40th anniversary and the fans decided to hold their own 40th anniversary party. Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think to myself, people are looking for those milestones. It doesn't have to be, the 2-year celebration where we involve Asia. I mean, it's
Yeah.
okay to just have a birthday party at your house, Mm-hmm. I think this is a great idea.
So do I.
Or
So do I.
at least acknowledge it.
And I'll say that I think the specific merchandise, the non-homogenized
Right. Yeah.
merchandise, they've come a long way.
Oh, yeah.
They have come a long way. So many T-shirts.
Do you think it's because of us
I
complaining?
Well, I think we certainly helped. with the complaining, but I've been loving. Every time I go into a park, I see something new, and
The quality of some of the the stuff has gone up a lot too. Corey, you just got a T-shirt at Food and Wine Festival that I was really really surprised at. It was really soft T-shirt, really nice shirt.
Yeah.
So I think by narrowing it down and then increasing the quality, you see that people actually want to buy the stuff again.
I went into mouse gear because I had to change out of my shirt. I was just a sweaty mess, and there were a lot of cool shirts, but I didn't have my size in any of them. So I ended up getting
extra medium.
Yeah, extra medium. But yeah, they didn't have my size in any of them. Like some of the vintage Epcot shirts, the white ones with the old vintage logo, and they didn't have my size in any. I ended up getting one of the Food and Wine Festival shirts. Yeah, it is good quality. It's nice.
That's a good thing because for a while Disney had cheap souvenirs.
Yeah, no, and they're definitely moving away. I'm seeing it more and more. They're moving away from cheap souvenirs, and I'm finding a lot of stuff all the time that I'm like, wow, that's really cool. I really want that.
Yeah.
So I think whoever's in charge of merchandise right now is a rock star and is doing a great job.
On the 40th anniversary at the jeweler in downtown on Main Street, you could buy watches that had the 40th anniversary logo on them. And I understand if you're not going to throw a whole event, where you, as I said, involve the world. But I think offering that stuff, it's got to make money.
I think it's tough for them to throw a big celebration now with the amount of construction.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
So stuff like this makes me happy.
I think we'll see a lot of things finished before the 50th.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Thank you, Rhino. Craig.
Okay, starting October 7th, if you're heading to Disney's Hollywood Studios, you will have a chance to see a little bit of a sneak peek, a 10-minute sneak peek of Doctor Strange at the One Man's Dream Theater. So if you don't know what Doctor Strange is, it's the newest Marvel movie that will be coming out November 4th, and it follows the story of, I'm quoting Disney Parks blog on this one, world-famous neurosurgeon Dr. Stephen Strange, who, in his quest for healing after a horrific car accident, discovers powerful magic in a mysterious place known as Camartage, the front line of a battle against unseen dark forces bent on destroying our reality. So, no One Man's Dream movie, playing from October 7th till probably sometimes after November.
Okay. Thank you, Craig, for that.
We just saw the preview yesterday for Moana.
It looks really good.
I'm looking forward to it.
A lot of controversy around Moana right now.
Well, you just saw that Halloween costume that came out, right? It's the neck to the body. It's a full bodysuit, and it's the tattoos and the things, but the skin color is like this. They're equating it to, like
blackface.
Yeah.
People will complain about everything
you're
now.
talking
It's like a
about
damn
specific
costume.
Character who has that skin
It's
color.
a costume. It's
Here's
Finley will wear
and
it.
that's the
I
thing
don't-
is,
it's-
I wanted to be the Black Panther for Halloween, but I said I can't bring myself to do it because it's like the one
like
superhero
dressed
that
like Beyonce Black Panther or
Like Angela Davis?
but I was like, it's not. I don't think it's appropriate for me to
Corey
do that.
at
no, like I'm talking about the Super Bowl
www.info.com.
show, right?
Well, there was just a great big thing because the designer Marc Jacobs used rainbow-colored dreadlocks on his model during New York Fashion Week, and he's been accused of cultural appropriation. When did we become these people?
I don't know. I don't know, and I am just not in the mood to talk about it. So, all right. Thank you, Craig. Before we wrap up, we want to spend some time talking about this year's Food and Wine Festival, which I believe, I don't think you guys got over for it, but I think the rest of us have been there. Kathy, you made it, right? So let's, we got a little video to show first, and then we'll have a little discussion about this year's Food and Wine. So here's a video put together for it. right, there you have a look at this year's Food and Wine Festival. So let's just talk about it. Let's start with, I'm going to start with you, Kathy. Was there anything in particular that jumped out at you as like really good that you have to get when you go back?
Well, can I say that this year I think they, I don't think they brought their A game.
Really?
Yeah, the one thing that I had was at Greenhouse Gurus, and it was tomatoes with goat cheese and balsamic on it. It was like one slice of tomato and the half of 4 like grape tomatoes. It was like $4.25, $4.75. It's like, am I at that point now? It's like, really? You know,
Anybody else feel that way? Anybody else feel that?
I did. I'm trying to do it in small doses because, like what you saw in our video, it was just so hot, and then I went back with Steve and it was so hot. So I'm trying to do like 3 or 4 boosts each time I go, and a couple of them. It seems like it's getting a little pricey this year. Like they're charging you full prices for half portions now, especially when it comes to like any of the drinks. The cup for the drink is like a Dixie cup size cup, and in some places it's like $9.50, and it's half of a size of what you could normally go to like one of the other places and get, for less money but a full size cup.
There's no doubt that you have to plan this. I mean, we have the menus up on the site. Scroll through them. I mean, like, I love the lamb chop, but it's over $7, and I kind of, it's the same size as what I eat on the Disney Cruise Line, and multiply that times 20. It pays for my cruise.
One whole lamb.
But there are, you really have to research and find the ones that are of a great value. I mean, it's tasty. It's not a great value.
Right.
Well, I think if you're going to go around Food and Wine Festival with a discount mindset,
Right.
that's. Look, I'm certainly on board with, value for what you pay. Now, for me, and I shared this when I did my little live vlog last week, this is my first time doing it since I've lost the weight. And I'm not eating the way I used to eat. So I found that for me, after about 3 or 4 stops, like, okay, I'm full. Whereas I used to be able to go a lot further than that. But what I found with what I ate, limited though it was, I've only been once, I'm going back again tonight. With what I had, I thought the food was very good. I did not feel like I was being overcharged. I thought the portion sizes of what I got were good. And I was immeasurably happy that there are so many more tables this year set up around World Showcase.
Absolutely.
Yep, that's one of the first things we noticed.
They
finally listened.
I did not have to eat once on a trash can. And now I imagine during, on the weekends, things like that, it's probably going to be harder to find those tables. But doing it on a Thursday, we had our pick of tables wherever we went. So
what was the best thing you had though? You asked Kathy. I'm curious if there was
the best thing I had was the beer braised short rib from Belgium.
Oh, okay.
Was just ridiculously good. I also thought the butter chicken from Africa was quite good. I really enjoyed that. You didn't like that.
No.
I know. I saw in your.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite good.
I had the duck, and they've had this before. It's not new, but that duck. I don't want to call it a taco. It's in China, and it comes on the steamed bun.
Yeah.
That's always good.
Bao?
Yeah, it's so good. And that's what?
The bao, was it on the soft bun?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that for me is always one of the, like, I am so happy however that came into existence. That's one of those, like, Food and Wine, I'm getting that thing,
I got to go back to what you said about value and price and stuff. We've never seen it as a value. It's an experience, and you go and we know that we're going to spend $100, and on the way home we're going to stop at McDonald's.
I think,
but it's just part of what we know about.
Well, one of the things that was different for me this year, I felt like I had a real Food and Wine experience. Usually, when I've gone to Food and Wine, it's been on first day with the team.
Yeah.
And we're doing run and gun. We're taking pictures. We're doing vlogs. We're doing whatever we do. And so I'm not really having a normal a normal experience. This time, it was, my friend Brian, Steve Porter, and I just kind of going around.
Yeah.
And taking it at a really leisurely pace, even though it was quite warm. It was really enjoyable. I really had a nice time. And yeah, even though I didn't eat a tremendous amount, I spent $55 on food and water, because I was drinking water like crazy. And I felt full. I felt satisfied. I felt like I got, it's expensive, but I didn't feel like I was just completely ripped off.
Well, I don't want to offend anyone by saying this, but I could tell just from the turnstile experience and going through security on day one that there was the demographic shifted to an older crowd that didn't even have park admission on their Magic Bands, but just showed up to the parks not knowing anything but looking to spend some money.
Yeah.
And the lines were terrible because of that.
Well, speaking of which, this is something that blew my mind. Security was manned almost exclusively by people earning their ears. You had a couple of supervisors around, but you had these trainees. So here it is, the beginning of Food and Wine Festival, lines at security like I've never seen before. And you have trainees on. Why aren't you putting them on in the afternoon when it's a little bit less crowded instead of first thing in the morning? Mm-hmm. And yeah, and then there were lines at the turnstiles. I mean, that picture you tweeted last Wednesday.
Oh, it was entered the park. I was already dripping wet. And you look at all the available turnstiles from the right to the left. It's just all these available turnstiles on the first day of Food and Wine Festival, but you're in this like baking heat. Yep. You can't help but get pissed.
And then we're looking at the kiosk. It was the China kiosk, in fact, because I didn't stop there. Normally I would have. The reason I didn't was because the line was ridiculous, and they had one person on the registers.
That's definitely part of our decision making.
And it's like, I'm not going to sit here and wait 20 minutes. Why do you only have one? And we noticed that at a number of kiosks. There was only one person there, and those were the ones that had lines. Then you had other kiosks with no lines and 17 people working.
Yeah.
I also noticed something else that I thought was interesting this year. I don't know if anybody else noticed it. Very few of the people working in the kiosks were actually from the country.
I noticed that on this last trip because I was in Poland, and the girl was saying something about the shirt I was wearing. It was a Magic Kingdom shirt, and then I thought about it, and I was like, none of these people say Poland on their name tag, and I don't know if that's just a place that people don't come to work from.
Well, no, I was seeing it at. I noticed at every kiosk I stopped at. Not one of the cast members. All of them were from the United States. None of them were from
it
the
didn't
countries.
used to be that way.
No, never used to be that way.
France was still that way. There was lots of French people there.
Well, yeah. I think in the pavilions where they have, in the area, the kiosks where they have a pavilion, it's one thing because they have those people, but they always seem to find, people from that country. So I thought that, again, it didn't really detract from the experience. It was just an observation.
I am dying to know, did anyone do the chocolate studio?
No, the problem was it was so hot when we went. It was the last. That's the thing is, and Pete said this already, is that this year my number one advice is take it in pieces, and it will be very enjoyable. You do 3 or 4, call it a day, come back. If you can't, I understand that. But one of the things is you can't. The last thing we could think about was holding something that could melt so fast in our hand. So. I didn't do it.
And even like the fisherman's pie in Ireland. I mean, that's a pretty substantial portion, but it's so hot and we're dripping wet, and it's like, I'm not eating something this hot. We say it every year about the gift cards. I mean, I'll say it again. It's like the best thing to keep the lines moving, and it's so convenient. Just put $100 on it or $50, whatever. Get those. Also, they have these again, the passports, and instead of the stamps that you would get, you have stickers now, which I like because my OCD drives me crazy when they would like stamp it upside down or something. But I also think it helped to speed up the lines. You would go to each country and they would stamp your passport.
I know. So some people are upset about this, though.
I mean,
people don't like it because you could just put whatever you want. Like, Like,
Well, I mean, you
they
can
didn't
do that
actually go
anyway.
there,
You can still walk up there and say, "Stamp my book." I mean, it's not like
That's
you're
what
turning
they were
it
doing,
in.
though. They were making it terrible because they were walking up saying, "Stamp my book,"
Right.
not buying anything, and then just walking away. It's wasting time.
Yeah, I enjoy the stickers.
I sort of looked at it as a
Contact Food and Wine.
as a cost cutting thing. I mean, I like the idea as a scrapbooker or whatever to have the stickers, but it sort of took away the personal touch at Food and Wine. It's like, here, slap your own sticker on it.
If you're going to be affected by someone getting a stamp in your book, it's probably not the event for you.
But it's so that's still here, but with a little change. But it's kind of nice. Maybe after the event, you go and see everything you
And
tried.
who all got the annual pass holder glass?
I got it.
I'm one
and
trip away.
It's nice. It's I should have brought it. I wasn't thinking. It's like one of the half glasses, the tumbler sized, and it's got the Mickey that's on the yellow annual pass right now. It's got that Mickey carved on it, and then the base, it has Food and Wine 2016 in it. It's a really nice glass.
Explain how you got it.
So this year, they instead of doing stamps or anything like that, they register it by your ticket. How many trips you've made.
But for annual pass holders.
For annual pass holders, excuse me, yeah. And you'll just go into Interventions on the side where Ellen's Energy Adventure is and all that stuff. And you go like in there, and there's a million signs that'll direct you. A lady scans your magic band, and they just double check that you've come to the park 3 times since it started, and then you go into another room, and they'll give you the glass. So it's a super easy, painless process, and I'd say the earlier you can get it in, the better, because the later, I'm sure the lines might get a little better,
Yeah.
but they might also run out too. So
I need a pair.
So I'm going to go around, don't miss item, and scale of 1 to 10. What's your thought of this year's festival? Rhino.
My don't miss so far. I had tried this drink in Poland. They put apples in the bottom of it, like apple pie mix, and then it's this like frozen drink, and then it has crumbles on top. I forget what it's called, but it's got apple pie in the title. It's
I couldn't even pronounce it. I'm looking at it here.
Yeah.
It says apple pie.
It's an alcoholic drink, but it's really really nice for these hot days. I would say do not miss it. And I would say that this event for me thus far 7.5, 8. It's enjoyable. Not miss.
Great. Thank you, Rhino. Craig.
True. I will say it was the in Morocco. It was crispy fried hummus.
The hummus fries.
Hummus fries. It was probably the most unique thing I've seen at Food and Wine. I said in the video before, it's not adventurous by any means, but it was flavorful. It was delicious. It was a great portion size for the price. And it was a nice surprise find. So I'd recommend that. As far as the event, I've been once on the most miserable day. I can't really give it a rating.
Oh, come on.
I can't. I would rate it a 0 based on the day that we were there. We all hated.
Well, that
being
was the
there.
weather. That was not the event.
I couldn't enjoy myself.
Okay.
Like I genuinely
All right.
I can't.
Craig is abstaining. Kathy.
For me, going to Food and Wine, it's going back to old favorites. So spanakopita in Greece or the cheddar cheese soup. It's always like, how is it today? Like sometimes the cheddar cheese soup is very good, and then sometimes it's like it's been sitting there. But I like going. We usually go numerous times. That's like our event for the year. And just have a few little meals here and there. But I like the atmosphere of the park.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
So scale of 1 to 10. Is there a particular? Well, you just said. What on a scale of 1 to 10? What'd you think of this year's festival?
I would say a 7 or an 8. I think I need to go back a few more times and understand it a little better.
All right, Corey Patrick.
I'm kind of with Craig. I mean, if you're watching the video, you see how many stickers I still have left. I didn't really experience the as much as I wanted to, but I guess from the things I tasted, I'm always a pork belly fan. I think one of the things I do want to try, I'm curious about. I didn't get to try it when Craig got it at Morocco. Those hummus fries. They look interesting. I do want to try that. I also, need to go try the hops and barley spot again. See how their lobster roll is this year.
It's supposed to be better.
I'm curious.
It's
not like a lobster salad like it was
right.
last year.
It's more pure lobster.
That was at the preview. and it was, I don't know if it's the same, but they took a cold roll and I had a claw meat. They stuck the claw meat on the roll and spritzed it with lobster in a roll. A lobster roll to me is usually when they make like lobster salad out of it.
Right.
And the lobster meat was well cooked, but again, it was roll lobster claw meat and a shot of butter. I didn't think it was, I wouldn't pay for it. Let me put it that way.
And that was at the preview, so they probably kicked it up a notch more than they're doing at the
hope.
festival.
It was a good sized chunk of lobster. I mean, but I don't know what it costs. I don't know what the cost of it is at the event, but in my mind, that's not a lobster roll.
I'm also looking forward to seeing some of the concert series. I mean, I never go just for it, but it's kind of nice to stumble upon it.
Tiffany, are you waiting for Tiffany?
You know it. You know, I used to have a poster of her behind my door when I was young.
He used to dress up as
Her
her.
and Debbie Gibson. I'm telling you, they were. But and Alyssa Milano. I can keep going. But
Corey, who's the boss?
I've been there twice. The first day was hot as hell, and the second day, which is last night, got rained out. So 2 very incomplete, but I'm just going to give it an 8 because I love it so much, and I'm looking forward to the November weather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we won't have to wait till November
Yeah.
for the November weather. For me, I've only been once. I'm going back again tonight because I'm going to go see Air Supply.
They got rained out yesterday.
See, come with me tonight.
Sorry.
So I'll check it out. I'll check it out some more tonight. But based on my experience last Thursday, I thought the food was very good. I had a really nice experience. I thought the festival center was well done, but there were some interesting things to see there. A lot of great merchandise. I thought the Ghirardelli display with the chocolate sculptures that they did were very, very cool. I also bought knives and cookware from Cutco. And the fact that this
Because
year
there's a lot of deals on knives at Epcot.
it was they had a Cutco booth in the festival center, and they were doing really good deals.
Oh, wow.
So I got Cutco knives and Cutco cookware for a lot less than I would have paid if I'd done it normally. So that being said, it's still absurdly expensive, but the stuff's really good. I've had Cutco knives for years. But anyway, given the fact that they expanded the number of tables, that's a huge plus for me. So for that reason, right now, I'm giving it an 8.5. I will revise that up or down depending on future experiences. But I think, generally speaking, Food and Wine's in good shape this year. I think they made some good additions. I think we'll see how they handle the crowds as the season progresses. But it was a really nice experience for me. So that's where I stand with it. So. All right, that is going to do it for our show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back with you again next Tuesday with another edition of the Diz Unplugged. Thanks for being with us, everyone, and remember, stay out of the damn lakes. Have a great week.